Well, good morning. So, we are back and we are starting week 5. So, at least I think it's week 5, but we're just gonna say it's week 5, and then if not, I'll correct it later. Anyway, it doesn't matter anyways. But today is Monday, and we are doing chest and back and shoulders. And we are upping the cardio for today. We're gonna try to get some more steps in and slowly elevate the amount of volume that we are doing per exercise. Because a fun little thing about when people start lifting is they lift and they lift and they lift and they get to a certain point, and then you become stagnant, and then you don't really, don't really make as much, what do you call it? Don't really make any progress. You go stagnant. So, and I apologize if I'm stuttering a lot. I'm still waking up. It is 5:50 in the morning. So, but yeah. So another fun thing about the beginning of the week is I more refer to it as the steak and potatoes setup, because Monday and Tuesday, those 2 days, you're probably the most recovered, and you just got a little bit more in you, because if you have a normal weekend, you have normal rest days, you're really rested up. You got maybe a few extra calories, maybe the same, it just depends on the weekend. But for me, I just kept it the same. Honestly, yesterday I didn't even meet my macros yesterday. I just wasn't hungry, man. I wasn't hungry. But it's, so it ends up being the steak and potatoes, just because you got a little bit more oomph. And a lot of these movements, I purposely thrown in movements that I really, really enjoy for these first 2 days, because, I can get the most out of it. Now, I'm not saying the next, or 3 days after that are going to be shit. I'm not saying that at all. But once you get past that second day, you've done one chest, back, and shoulder day, and you've done one, and then tomorrow's going to be legs and, quads and triceps. And after that, your body's got some recovering to do. It's going to start getting backed up. So by the time you get to Wednesday, you're still recovering from Monday, and you just don't have as much. So simple as that. We're going to go into, probably a little bit of chest starting off. I think there's two chest exercises, maybe three chest exercises, but mainly they're mainly compound. I think there's one machine movement for chest today, and then back is of course there's going to be lat pull downs. Yeah, I keep that in every back day. I may do a different variation. I may, if I'm feeling pretty good, we may do a different variation of it. And then for shoulders, I think it's just plate loaded military press, honestly. Yeah. But going back in the back, I didn't really talk about it. I kind of skipped over that. For back, I think there's 3 exercises. We got, of course, like I said, lat pull downs, and then we are going to do one of my favorite back exercises, and just an overall exercise. It would be like, I don't think this exercise would ever leave my program. Doesn't matter what I'm doing, is barbell bent over rows. I absolutely love that movement. But what I hate about it is that I feel like nobody ever does them correctly. And in all honesty, I've never seen myself do them, but I feel like I do it correctly just with how much mind to muscle connection I get with that exercise. But I guess we'll both learn today, won't we? We'll learn all kinds of stuff. But this is gonna be a pretty good day. So I'm actually getting close to the gym. I'm gonna go ahead and let this pre-workout kind of settle in a little bit, and and then we're gonna get to it. Okay, so here we go. This is the first exercise of the day. We're starting off with chest. Most upper body days I like to start off with chest. It's just it's a muscle that I've really been wanting to work on, and most time when you get started, you're as fresh as can be. Normally the muscle you want to work on the most is what you want to start with. But just a little note here: the way I did this first set compared to the second set that you'll see in a minute, I actually really wish that I did the second set the same way as the first set, where even though at the end I started locking out, the first couple of reps where I was doing 3/4 reps, I really prefer doing 3/4 reps compared to full reps, just because I noticed that my triceps don't take over as much. So I'll get a little breather here after that first set, and then moving to the second. And then on the second set, you'll kind of notice that I'm probably locking out more, and I am using a bit of a heavier weight. My strength was a little bit lower. I'm not being egotistical here or anything, but I normally do 80s on this for the first and second set, and then I slowly go down in weight. But I warmed up a little bit and noticed that I was feeling a little bit weaker, so I ended up starting off with 70s for the first set. But you'll notice on these, on the second set, I go all the way up and lock out. And I really wish I didn't do that. I don't know why. And I was feeling a pretty good stretch here. I don't like to bring the dumbbells all the way down where it touches my chest. I know that's theoretically full range of motion on that, but I right when I get there, I feel plenty of a stretch. I feel plenty of a burn. I'm getting a good squeeze, and in my opinion, it's working the best for me. So sometimes you just gotta, some exercises, you just gotta work with how you're feeling. So, and I think that was my last set was 70s, and I think I'm pretty sure I bumped it down a little bit. I'm pretty much warmed up, so I got the hoodie off, so I got a little bit more free range of motion, not sweating my ass off as much. So yeah, we switched down to 60s on this one, which I was getting, believe it or not, after pumping out some of those 70s, these 60s ended up doing somewhat of a 3/4 rep. I think I even told myself I enjoyed how I did the first set better than the second. I switched back to 3/4 reps. 3/4 reps, I really do like it just because it keeps it gives you non-stop tension across the chest throughout the entire exercise, because even when you get up to the top, your chest actually gets a little bit of a break. And during this exercise, even if you get 5 reps but it's 3/4 reps, I mean, that's 5 fluent reps that you're feeling everything, and I just I prefer that. And then this is the last set where I'm pretty much just going to burn out on the fourth and final set with some 45s. I'm pretty much not going to get as smooth or as clean of reps of higher weight at this point. Higher weight. So I just kind of get every little bit of rep that I can, dropping it down, and I'm pretty happy with the form and the weight that I chose on that. And then for the second exercise for chest, we're going to go into a little bit more of a incline cable fly, where it's going to focus a little bit of the lower chest, but it's also going to focus a lot of the mid chest if you're squeezing it right. And you'll notice the way I do flies, it's not exactly a fly. It's more of like a slight stretch and then a press. And on these incline flies, I really prefer the pressing motion instead of the flying motion, because when I do flies, and I do some variant of flies, but when I'm doing this particular exercise, I feel it so much in my shoulders if I fully extend my arms. So I kind of turn it more into sticking my chest out as far as I can and getting that 90-degree angle bend on the negative, just to feel that chest stretch, and then I immediately press once I feel that decent stretch. Like, because there's a fine line between, I'll start feeling it in my chest, and then as I go farther and farther back, I start feeling it in my shoulders, and we don't want that. We're not targeting shoulders, we're targeting chest. But the angle of my arms, I'm trying to keep that angle aligned with the lower part of my chest the best I can. And but yeah, that's the main goal. Is kind of the only thing I'd say that I wish I did. I wish on the positive, I think actually I wish I would have went a little bit slower instead of being as explosive with it, because this is a isolation movement. This movement should be performed somewhat like, oh, not somewhat, but almost extremely controlled, and not a lot of weight. You know, you're supposed to be focusing on the stretch. So I think besides that, I think that went pretty damn well. Now, and this is the final chest exercise for the day, and this is just a simple flat press. And I tend to put my hands a little bit closer, because there's a lot of chest movements that I don't really like to bring my hands in very close. I like just to have like a shoulder width, you know, distancing when I press. And this is just an exercise where you're in a fixed position, so you can move a little bit of weight. And at this point, my chest is fried, man. Like, it's done. So this is a good little way to kind of finish it off, because I can just move as much as I can, and then when I start failing, I just set it down. And you know, I'm just trying to really keep my chest pressed out. I want my chest as forward as possible. Keeping your head back is what you should be doing. For me, you'll notice that I stick my chin down when I press, and I think I've prefaced that in other videos that I prefer it that way. I don't know why, I just feel it in my chest when I do that. It's just it's a bit strange, but you know, once again, you just got to do what you can to you know what feels the best for you. So, and then I'm pretty sure I dropped the weight a little bit here just to try to get a little bit more reps out of it, just kind of burn out, try to get as much as I can. But keeping those hands closer is great, but you really do have to be careful on your negative, because on the negative, when your hands are closer like that, you're making your shoulders a little bit more prone for injury on that. So just be careful with what you're doing on that. And but you'll know. I mean, you know, don't be stupid. You know, you'll come all the way back and you'll go, ow, that hurts. Don't do that. And then that's going to pretty much finish up chest, and we're going to move into back. Now, once again, I mean, wide grip lat pull downs. You know, I normally do different variants, but I've just been feeling this exercise so well, especially starting off with back. You get a great stretch, you get a great contraction. It's very easy to try to keep it controlled even when you're struggling. And it's nice. So once again, starting off with lat pull downs, and really focus on that negative. Once again, I think I pointed out in my last video too, I was feeling it really well, so maybe I was wrong. But, you know, even though I was feeling it well, I could probably feel it better if I slowed down that negative just a little bit. But I'm getting some partials in. And that's another cool thing about this exercise, is that you can really get nice, pure partial reps out of this. This exercise is so great for getting extra little partials out of it. So this is going to be, of course, the second set. And at this point, guys, I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm getting pretty winded. I'm getting pretty winded just from the previous exercises that we did. So I'm kind of, you're not really seeing the rest times, but I noticed editing this video that my rest times were getting longer and longer and longer. So, but even though I was getting winded, I was getting tired, I knew I still had to get the sets in, had to get the reps in, still had to make it good. I'm not gonna half-ass, you know, I'm not gonna half-ass just because I'm tired. I'm gonna do it correctly, because that's the only way you're gonna get progress. So even if you gotta take a little bit of rest time, if you lose a little bit of your pump, you know, you definitely don't want to lose it, but if you lose just a little bit of it, just so you can get back in and get those reps in, get those sets in, and get good pure reps, good form, you know, I'd say that's a good little balance. But see, on this, I've noticed when I get winded, I actually, my negatives are actually slower. I think it's because I'm just not looking forward to the next rep. So I'm trying to stall a little bit, but I'm getting benefits from doing that. So, you know, I mean, it's working. And you really want to keep that lower back as stationary as possible. And you want your lats to be doing the main work, but that'll finish up wide grip lat pull downs. This is one of my favorite exercises, and it is the number one thing that builds my back. It has made it so strong, even through when I had lower back injuries. This exercise just helped it so much. But you really do not want to go excessively heavy. You want nice and controlled, a good squeeze, a good negative. And what you'll notice is when I'm lifting, the bar is coming to my waist, and then when I'm letting down the bar, I'm letting it come not down to my knees, but away from my knees. You know, what I'm aiming for is just to go a little bit past my kneecap. And I noticed that the more and more I go into these sets, the kind of the higher up I will stand when I'm doing these lifts, and that's just because I'm getting fatigued. So it's just taking a little bit of wear and tear off my lower back and focusing more on my mid back. So just keep in mind, the more that you hinge your hips, the more you reach close to a 90-degree angle. The more likely that you need to lighten up the weight, because the heavier you go and the lower you hinge, you're really putting your lower back at risk. You know, even though your arms can move it and your lats and your mid back can move it, your lower back can only take so much. So this is not supposed to be working your lower back. You're specifically working your mid back and some of your lats, depending on how you hold the bar. You can do undergrip. I prefer overgrip for this particular exercise. Undergrip, I feel like my biceps take over a little bit, so I switched to overgrip. So I think this should be the final set. I did drop the weight on this last set. Once again, I was getting pretty fatigued, and I wanted to finish my sets, and I just wanted to get good, clean reps. When it's lighter weight, once again, you'll see that it's a little bit more controlled, because I'm still focusing on the contraction. I'm still focusing on the stretch, but it goes to waist and then knee. Waist, knee, and I got a tiny little partial out of that. And then this should be pretty much finishing up, and I think you'll even see it in my face at this point. I am completely fried. I mean, I am done at this point. I'm just burnt out. And my hands are a little bit closer. I think I adjust them a little bit. Don't put your hands this close together. When you're doing shoulders, you don't want that 45-degree angle. And I was feeling it too. That, like, you can literally see me moving my shoulders and my hands around because it just feels weird. I have done this exercise quite a lot, but this is just a bad habit that I do. Do not put your hands like this. Get it more at a 90-degree angle. I think here I actually get my hands a little bit wider, I think. Let's see when we go down, see what angle we're sitting at. Yeah, that's better. I'd say that's a little bit better. In all honesty, this machine, I need to do a different style of military press, because this machine, I don't know what these fucking engineers were thinking having that, because the grip isn't angled correctly. Your hands are actually facing outward, and I think it should just be a straight across bar. I think that's really dumb. So maybe we'll find a different variant, just because. But I do feel the exercise really great, but I think it's just, the way your hands are positioned, the way you got to mess around with the seat, it may not be as optimal as it should be. But you can kind of see me shaking my head, shaking my face. I'm pretty much done at that point. But that's going to finish it up, and we're going to move into the posing room. All right, I'm out. What a fucking first day of week 5. What you just saw in that lifts, especially on, like, right at the end with bent over rows and then machine military press. Dude, I was fucking dead. I mean, I was dead. Which is great. I gave it. I tried to give it as much as I could. I hope once I look over film, I hope most of my form was good, but man, it felt good. It felt really fucking good. Uh, chest was a bit slow. I had to go down and wait, um, which is actually kind of a pattern today. That's kind of part of what I like to call instinctive training. There's just some days that you're going to be weaker and you're going to be stronger. Um, and on those, like, weaker days, which for me, I was definitely weaker today, because like I said earlier in the car talk, like, I just didn't have as much food. But even though I didn't have as much food the day before, I still had a good lift. I downed the weight a little bit, slowed down the range of motion the best I could, and still got a pretty good fucking pump. So, but with that said, let's see what we're looking like. This morning we weighed in at 210, so, which stayed consistent throughout the weekend. So, which makes sense. I didn't really do a lot of moving around. I will say I did. I don't know if it's gonna pop up on camera, but I do have a little bit of sunburn, mainly because I went and played golf yesterday.
And then yesterday was all about fucking golf, man. I shot a 94, which isn't great, but I broke 100. So that's the second time I broke 100 in a row, which is nice. And then went and watched, finished up the Masters. And, man, what a fucking Masters. That was the first like full Masters I've ever watched. And man, I was so spoiled on that. But anyways, I don't know how many people watching this watch golf. If you do, you know what I'm talking about. If you watch the Masters, if not, you're probably falling asleep at this point. But yeah, okay. So I just came up with a new pose. All right, check it. Kangaroo Jack, bro. What the fuck am I doing? Okay, all right, straighten up. All right, I'm gonna do a reel. See if we can't do a most muscular here. Fuck. Oh, that feels good. All right. Got the, I guess I got the goofies this morning. I don't fucking know. Front level butt. Well, that right arm needs some work, man. But it's always needed fucking work, to be honest with you. So whatever. Other side. Oh. All right, let's try this pose again. Fucking. I suck at this pose. Oh God. All right, just get it over with. Fuck it. I gotta know if that pose is. I really need to know if that pose is bad or not. I feel like I'm doing it right, but it's definitely not right. It's definitely not. All right, let's finish up with a little lat spread, and then we'll do a little bit more talking, and I'm going to fucking work, man. No, we still got cardio. I forgot about that. Let's try this leg. Well, I can't really, I don't know how it's popping up on camera, but I can't really tell too much of a difference. Definitely more uh, up here. I'm noticing a little bit more definition. Fucking, oh, it's a good fucking shit. I'm not doing that voluntarily. That shit is fucking twitching. Chill the fuck out. All right. But I can't really tell too much of a difference today. Definitely a lot more lines going on up top, but I do see, I doubt it's on camera, but I mean this slightest little line, like the little, I don't know if that's just fat just moving around or we've got actually something going on, but that's nice. From the side, definitely definitely still got some love handle action. I mean that's probably gonna be there forever though, so you know, just get past that. But yeah, all in all, it's a good lift, very good lift. But I didn't do, once again, I did not do straight arm pull downs. And the only reason I did it is because by the time I got done with bent over rows, my back was shot. It was fucking done. between lat pull downs and then bent over rows, I was just shot. So I saved whatever I could left for shoulders, and shoulders were uh, they were lacking a little bit. By the time I got the shoulders, man, I was so fried. But that's what happens. You just don't eat your food, even on a cut. Getting your macros in is so fucking important, man. But it's fine. We'll eat a little bit extra today and get caught up. We'll probably weigh a little bit more tomorrow, but it will balance itself out by the end of the week. So no biggie. We're not really worried about the number. We just want to see fat percentage go down. That's what matters. So, but I guess that's it for today. I'm gonna go knock out some cardio and get started back up tomorrow. We got quads and triceps, quads and triceps tomorrow. So that should be fun. So definitely got to get some food in for that one. I cannot slack. If you cannot slack on leg day, I cannot preface that enough. Without a lower body, you cannot have an upper body, and my lower body is shit right now. So I don't really like doing legs, but I want a nice upper body, so we just got to get a nice lower body too. Just part of it.